There once again, Saleem-Qamar is back here with another informative video in this course of HTML and CSS. This is our lesson number 14, and in this lesson we are going to learn about CSS borders, which is another very frequently used topic in CSS. So in styling of our web page, what the heck is this border? It specifies the style of the border, width of the border, and the color of the border. There are different border styles. For example, all of them are enlisted right here. We are going to see all of them in a minute in our editor. So before them, just let us indulge into other properties that are important before reading about border style. Understand our border style. After this, the very important property about borders, the border width. By specifying this property, you would be able to specify the width you want for the border of an element. There are various ways to specify the value for this property. Right here, as you can see, these are the units in which you can provide these values. In upcoming videos, we are going to talk about each of the unit individually, but for now, we can also give it some predefined values that are in CSS. For example, medium and thick. By medium border width, we mean that we don't want a very thick or very thin amount for the border width. Let us see it inside our editor, that how does these properties affect the style of our element. So here is our IDE, the environment in which we are coding in this course. So these are our files that we used in our previous lectures, in our previous lessons. So for this lesson, I'm going to create a new file, lesson 14, CSS Borders.html. So I'm going to create a boilerplate and CSS Borders. Right here, for showing the style, I'm going to create a div element. This is div and an internal CSS. By now you must have known what is an internal CSS, and we are going to style CSS. Let us give it the border width of 2 pixels and go live to see what is the difference of this style on our element. Right here, as you can see, that our border is not visible right here. So there is another property which is known as border color, and let us give it orange, and a borders. And the third property that we learned about just before, the style, border style, and what it is. These are the following border styles that we can use in our CSS. So let us go with a dotted border style. And inside our IDE and inside our browser, you can see that it has got an orange color of dotted style border, and the width is 2 pixels. Let us use the predefined unit for our border width, which is medium. And as you can see, the width of the border has just changed and it has become medium sort of border. After this border style, the border color, as we specified in our IDE right now. So in styling a border, the border color can get following form of colors: hex, RGB, and HSL. We talked about them in our video in which we talked about the CSS colors, and it could also take the property in a format, the name of the colors that are predefined in CSS, and it can also take another property which is transparent, and if you give it the transparent property, then the border would not be visible. After all of these styles, the border width, border color, and the border style, let us talk about the fact that in which format can we give the border of an element. So in CSS, we can specify the border of each side individually, or we can give the border for each or border style for each element in a single line as well. So right here, let us talk about our border style. As you can see in this example, in this upper example for P tag, we are giving style for each border, individually, whereas in the second example we are giving it in a single line. So let us get a bit of into it, that how would these property, the format in which, the order in which the properties would be given to our border style would affect our borders. So if there are 4 values that are presented, that are written inside as a value of border style property, then the first value would be for the top border, the second value would be for right border, the third one for the bottom border, and the fourth one for the left border, which means starting from top we have to give the style of individual border in clockwise order: top, right, bottom and left, clockwise. And if you are going to give 3 values only, the first value would be for top border, the second value would be for both left and right border, and the third value would be for the bottom border. And if you give only 2 values in border style, then the first one would be for both top and bottom, and the second one would be for right and left. And if you give only 1 value, this value would be applied to all four borders. So let us see giving these properties to our border inside our IDE. First of all, in style, let us give it a dotted, none, dashed and solid as the border styles. As these are 4 border styles, so first one would be for top, which is dotted as in our browser. We can see it. The left one, the first one is dotted. This first one is dotted, which is the top one. The second one is none, which is the right one, and the right border has no border, which means it is none. And the third is dashed. Right here you can see the third one, the bottom one is the dash one, and the fourth one is solid, which is here as we specified. And if I do this and remove none from here, and now we have only 3 values, which means the first one would be for the top one, second one would be for the left and right one, and the third one would be for the bottom one. Right, as you can see, the top one is the dotted and left and right are dashed, and the bottom one is solid. So if I remove one more value from here and leave it with only 2 values, then the first value would be for top and bottom, and the second one would be for left and right. Right, as you can see right here. After this, giving value for individual border, we come to a shorthand for the borders. In this shorthand for the border, we can specify all these 3 values into a single property, which is border. And what are these values? These values are the border width, border style and the border color. So right here we can compose all these 3 properties into a single property, which is border, medium, solid, black. This is the border style. This is the border width, this is the border style, and this is the border color. Right here inside our browser, as you can see, this is a medium width border with a black color and the solid style. So after this, there is another property, which is border radius. So what does this border radius do? This border radius would round the corners of our border by the amount we give it. Border radius 5 pixels. Right, as you can see, the borders are rounded, and if I increase the value for this border value into 15 pixels, it would make the radius of the border even more rounded. So that's it for this video. I hope you liked the video, and if you liked it, then press the thumbs up button and subscribe if you want to follow us with this series. Thank you for watching our video. Thank you. Goodbye.